Hi everybody. So I did a video. Oh, there we go. Now I'm not right in your face here. So I did a video on my YouTube page either earlier this week or it was one day last week. I can't really remember, but it was a request video, and I rarely do those, mostly because the requests that I get are, they're like heavy rock songs or something. It's like I can't really, my vocal type doesn't really fit that. But anyways, so I did a cover of Adele's Someone Like You, and the person who requested that song asked me to kind of tell my story and how I got started and stuff. I should warn you, I am terrible talking on camera, so I'm going to be looking everywhere but the camera for the most part. You're going to hear like a lot of stuttering, you're going to hear repeated phrases and stuff. Also the winter storm that is supposed to hit my region an hour from now is currently here. So it's been snowing for a good hour, and it's starting to like accumulate like on the cars and the rooftops and like the back roads and stuff. So, but I'm home, so I don't plan on going anywhere. So I decided I was gonna, do this. So again, I'm terrible talking on camera, but I started my YouTube channel on December 6, 2013. So just over 12 years ago. But I didn't start posting videos on that channel until 2017. So about 4 years later. So almost exactly 4 years later. I don't know what it is with December, but for some reason that's like a starting month for me, I guess. So I was about 10, 12 years old, and a few years before this, our school, I went to a very small private, very small private Christian school, and they, the state came in and said, you guys have to have a room to store the food, prepare the food, eat the food, all this kind of stuff. And I was just like, okay, our school is one long building, kindergarten through 12th grade, very small. Like, the state is not going to give us the funding for 4 or 5 different rooms for food alone, So the kids are just going to have to, like, pack their lunches. And we're like, okay, well, that's fine, And we started collecting these Tupperware containers, and some of them were straight up Tupperware, some of them were like old Country Crock butter containers, all that kind of stuff. So we kids were very famous for just kind of like tossing the containers once we were done with them in the bottom of the pantry. We never really, stacked them up or anything like that. So my mom said, you girls are the only ones that use the containers that much. You're going to go in there, clean it all out, and put lids with containers with lids. And if nothing has a mate, just stack it neatly to the side. Eventually we'll find something for it. But you're not just going to keep throwing it in the bottom of the pantry. So we just like, okay, yeah, we'll do that. And so we took everything out, and we found this box. It was a handmade box, a wooden box, and it had like, I'm gonna say 6 to 8 like holes or slots in it. And my mom was, storing her music collection in there, and she had everybody from Alison Krauss. My mom hates country music, but Alison Krauss is one of those people that she can listen to. So she had an Alison Krauss album. She had Kenny G. She had a Kenny G album in there somewhere. There was Jackson 5. There were 3 instrumental CDs. One was from the 40s, one was from the 50s, one was from the 60s. So, and then I found another album that said Charlotte Church Dream a Dream on there. And that album is what really kind of started it all for me. So I took my mom, and this will tell you the kind of kid that I was. So I took us to my mom, and she sat one end of the room. I stood one end of the other. And she has her glasses down at the brim of her nose, like kind of like the teachers back in the day. And I don't remember what she was doing. I just remember seeing her sitting at the kitchen table. And I don't know if she's doing taxes. I don't know if she's doing like, making jewelry. I don't remember what she's doing. But anyways, so I was like, Mom, I found this. Can I listen to it? And again, we're opposite ends of the room at this point. And she gives me this look. And if you're a parent, you will fully understand this look. Gives me this look, and she's trying to see what it is. And again, her glasses are down here. They're not up on her face. They're down at the brim of her nose. So she's looking at me over top of these glasses. And finally, she looks at me. She goes, I can't see it from there. Shay, you've got to bring it to me. So I'm like, okay. So I took it to her. And she goes, where did you find this? I said, it was in the pantry. It's in the box with a bunch of others. And she goes, well, I bought this years ago, forgot I had it, listened to it a few times, you know. If you like it and if you like it, you know, you can keep it. But if you only listen to it once and decide you don't like it, put it back where you got it. We kids were famous for doing the exact opposite of that order. So, so I have yet to return that album. That was the album that kind of started it all for me. I kind of miss the way they did albums back then. There was the photography of the artist, but Charlotte also had lyrics to every single one of the songs that she would put on these albums. And that is how I started, studying these songs. And this album was a Christmas album. There was Oh Holy Night, Hark the Herald Angels Sing, I think was on there. Coventry Carol's on there somewhere. Yeah, I think there's probably like 20 songs on that album, and it's pretty rare people do 20 songs for an album anymore. But I started listening to the songs first and reading the lyrics along with it. And then eventually I started like kind of mimicking how she was singing. And YouTube was still in its infancy at this time. So I would go to YouTube, and if you could see my YouTube search history 20 some odd years ago, that's all you would see is me watching, me searching up like Charlotte Church behind the scenes or, her music videos, and I would mimic the way she would sing. And the first foreign language and first operatic song I ever taught myself to sing was her version of Ave Maria from that album. And then, I got into, listening to Josh Groban and Andrea Bocelli. Pavarotti was also part of that. Placido Domingo is one of my favorites. Kathleen Battle, who is from Ohio, she was born and raised not 45 minutes from where I was raised at. Obviously she's older than me, but when I learned she's from Portsmouth, Ohio, and I'm from, again, 45 minutes to like an hour away from that, I'm like, ooh, that's cool, Katherine Jenkins is another huge inspiration for me as well. Around the time of, I was about 16 years old is when I saw the movie, the 2004 film of Phantom of the Opera for the first time ever. Gerard Butler, the man that he is, he stole my heart that day, I'm not gonna lie. And then in 2000 and, I'm gonna say, I started watching that one, I want to say 2018, 2019 maybe. I found the 25th anniversary of Phantom of the Opera that was filmed at the Royal Albert Hall there in London in 2012 with Hadley Fraser, Rabin Karimloo, and Sierra Boggess as the three main people. That one kind of stole my heart, and I have yet to watch any other version of Phantom of the Opera since. So, Phantom of the Opera was my huge introduction into musical theater. It will forever be my favorite. I do have a lot of other favorites, but Phantom will always be like that the number one spot for me. I also did ballet as a kid, and before I started singing, I was 7-8 years old when I did ballet. So there's like a lot of classical music influence that kind of like throughout my life. I was born Christmas Day of 95. Yes, I'm almost 30 years old. No, I don't look it, but hey. Again, we kids were adopted. I started this channel, again, I don't remember if I've said this or not. If I have, you hear it again. I started my channel December 6th of 2013. So it's, going on just over 12 years ago. I didn't start posting anything until 2017-ish, something like that. I was 21 when I started posting. I am going to pick up my phone and show you guys how I actually like record things. Now, I've never seen the inside of a recording studio in my life. Never stepped foot in one, nothing like that. Because where I'm from, there is very little to no opportunities to actually become like a huge musician. So, and plus this is just more just a passion for me anyway. So I'm going to turn my phone around and show you guys how I do this. So, see if I do this right. Probably not, but... Ooh, yay, I did it. So I have a speaker here, and I set my phone, like, right here. So it's not, like, sitting on top of the speaker, and then you guys can't, like, actually hear it. I'm going to move this sticky note. Whoops, wrong one. Yes, I have a sticky note telling me how to do this, but I'll show you guys my baby. You can't really see it very well because it's the type of computers. I have a chinchilla named Loki. He's currently sleeping right now, but he's my fur baby. So I put my phone here, and I put, you know, the music goes through there, and I'm gonna show you guys. So I play the music usually through Windows Media. You know, I make little, you know, playlists and stuff. I will have the lyrics either up here somewhere or on my tablet. My tablet's not turned on right now, but I usually have, you know, because, again, I don't like looking at the camera, so I will try anything and everything I can to, like, look off the camera because I feel like I'm staring into your soul, and I don't like that, so... so yeah, I'm kind of one of those people where if I like a song, I will try my best to you know, to cover it and whatnot. I just did a cover of Skillet's "O Come, O Come Emmanuel," and then I also did excuse me, I'm so sorry. And then I also recorded a song that I wrote for Christmas. It took me several years to start writing and, you know, releasing my own music, in a way. I do not like what I write. You know, I've never been the kind of person that's like, oh yeah, I really like this. I'm like, I don't know. But, pardon me, you never know unless you try. So, yeah, that's about it for, like, the music journey and whatnot. I am always inspired to try new stuff. Excuse me, sorry. I like going back to like where it all started as well, and, you know, just kind of revisiting some of the old classics. Excuse me, so sorry. Yeah, that's about it for me. I so I've been singing for about 20 years or so. Oh, I forgot, David Phelps is another one of my inspirations. I am constantly listening to him and, like, trying to, you know, cover some of the stuff that he's done, some of the stuff he's written and whatnot. But I try to post, videos of me singing on my YouTube at least twice a month if I can. I work full time, so it's one of those, do I have time? Do I really want to? You know, or it's like, I'm still studying some songs that I've written or that I'm wanting to cover and whatnot. So, but yeah, so that's kind of how all this started. So, if you guys have any questions, feel free to, like, message me or, you know, comment anything. But yeah, I'm going to step away for now and watch this winter storm. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.